Good morning. Well, it's cold and uncomfortable, I guess, but that is camping really, isn't it? That's what camping is. Did manage to sleep. We wake up about once an hour to sort of turn over. And then I was listening to, Stefan Milo. He's a YouTuber, it's kind of archaeology. And I was listening to him tell me to fall asleep. I kept listening to the same episode every hour I'd wake up. Were dogs originally food? And other speculations. Yeah, he was talking about what kind of archaeological evidence we had. I think maybe it is a sort of Neolithic type time he's going for. Yeah, it's like, they found the first like dog burials, and then he was talking about, if maybe we were sacrificing them, we used them for their fur and stuff, make a dog pelt coat, dog wool, he called it like that. Hey Coach, you got nice wool, haven't you? Yeah, and here we go, classic. So it's a camp, isn't it? It's obviously a camp. The ditch is on the outside. There's where you live, how many huts you fit in there. Fair few huts in there probably. I'd say 60 plus, 80 maybe. Here's the ditch. And then here's this bit. So you come in, attack in. You're not going, you're not invited to that party. Stone Circle, Avebury, you're invited to do a fertility dance. But in the Iron Age, we know that. Period BC to 43 AD. So was that when the Romans came then, 43 AD, is that why it's the end of the Iron Age? Because I swear we saw that date before. So I was right, 43 AD, that's when the Romans started their invasion. But yeah, 45 years of continuous invasion. Imagine that. That is a long old war. And so there we go, that fits in really with my theory as well. Neolithic, we all had stones, everything was fine. Iron Age, build the camps, got to defend them. Then the Romans were probably like, hang on a minute, they've all got a lot of iron over there. Gonna come and take that and send it back to Rome. Yeah, and then obviously you got the Normans, they came to get it, so it was 1066, I think we know that one. And, then the Germans, I guess in when did they invade? A couple of times, didn't they, tried to? Yeah, actually I remember from school, the Motte and Bailey, isn't it? Do you think this is a Motte and Bailey? This is probably a Motte and Bailey. I think that is the ditch and the wall. Okay, yeah, so no, Motte and Bailey is a bit later. 10th and 11th century, so it's probably not Motte and Bailey, but you could have done a Motte and Bailey here, I reckon. So this bit up the top would be the Motte. That's the top bit, and then down the bottom they don't really have it. Basically, there's going to be a courtyard. I mean, you could put one there, couldn't you? That would be the Bailey. That's why this was Iron Age, and then the other things was more kind of Norman times, where they'd been like, no, actually, we're going to separate it. We'll have the Motte with its own ditch, and then we'll have another ditch with the Bailey. And this back in the Iron Age, it was simpler, wasn't it? It was more holistic thinking. This is the cowslip, my app's telling me. Apparently the leaves are bitter, but the flowers have a nice citrusy flavour now. Yeah, it doesn't smell like much. But I've looked at the pictures and it's pretty distinctive, to be honest, so I'm pretty sure that is cowslip, and I've heard of it as well. I don't think there's any known sort of poisonous ones, maybe. Let's give this a try. I mean, it tastes like flour, like the actual, white stuff you make bread from. Oh yeah. Yeah, you do get a little bit of citrus from there. I mean, it's pretty mild. I feel like we're just spoiled, aren't we, really, with the foods that we have in the shop. They all just taste a lot more, apart from maybe the wild garlic, or bitter. There's a lot of bitter tasting stuff. Where's that hill gone? Like, it's almost like you have to really focus to be like, oh yeah, there is a flavour, and then perhaps you're just even imagining it anyway. Yeah, so rating for that, it's very I would describe it more as flour tasting than, citrus. But maybe a little hint of citrus. So, I don't know, 5. I mean, it's neutral, isn't it? It's not disgusting. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit hard, I think, with the sun and the light to see this, but we'll try from Dragon Hill. Maybe we can see it a bit better there. They drill into you, 1066, Battle of Hastings. But is that important? I guess it's pretty important. Roman invasion 43. No one was like, the Roman invasion 43, the Roman invasion 43. I guess 1066 was like the last time we were invaded. So remember that, remember that can happen. Build your camps, build your Motte and Baileys, defend our great nation. I think that's about the best we're gonna do. There's a horse. Yeah, and there you go. I think that's the shape of the horse that we can't quite see. Sadly, I lost the audio for this segment, but it was about the Motte and Bailey fallacy. The Motte and Bailey fallacy is when you try to conflate two ideas to advance a more controversial point of view in an argument. For example, that there's no difference between right and wrong. And this is quite a controversial idea, and would be your Bailey, which is easy to attack. But when someone does attack you, you could then retreat to your Motte and just say, oh, well, morality is a social construct, which it's quite easy to defend, given that morals are different, you know, in all different cultures around the world. Oh, it's the free sitting tall. Oh, it's the free sitting tall. Good little spot here, I thought, for a camp. I was thinking about having a coffee anyway. Obviously delayed by 1.5 hours to 2 hours in accordance with our Lord, God and Saviour, Andrew Huberman. Instead of just leaves, we're going to have a real product that someone has constructed. It's a resource, basically, isn't it? It's a store of value. We've got a store of value here. What do they say? Acorns. Grind up some acorns and that's the equivalent, but it's not, is it? I don't know. Maybe we should try that one time. We're not foraging really, we were just using products in the traditional way, not this futuristic kind of foraging technique that's in vogue right now. Oh, nice spiral though, isn't there? Like the reminds me of the shell of a snail. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. Fairly weak, I'd say. It's quite diluted, but that's fine. I don't want to get too much of a buzz going on. The dog's... Yeah, she likes that. I think that's like with the sweat, isn't it? She likes to lick my sweat off the back of the pack. That's like her version of coffee. The reindeer eat the psychedelic mushrooms, and then the people that live there in the cold, they drink the wee. You know, it's filtered out by the reindeer's sort of stomachs, filters out the bad bits, and then you get the nice kind of effects they want from it. And maybe that's the same with the dog and my coffee. You know, I drink this coffee here, and then I sweat it out through my back, process it through my body. It goes onto the back of that, and then she licks that up, and that's how she gets her caffeine. I mean, it's good. Right now, it's great. I reckon now it's an 8. Probably in general, it's about a high, you know, 6.5, something like that. Don't need the sticks and shot now, isn't it, Cokes? I really enjoyed that Mott and Bailey fallacy article. Yeah, it made me think that a part of war that I do like is the war of ideas and debate, and you know, we can have it. And we've got these little techniques like, oh, I'm going to sneak off back into my my Mott now that you've attacked my Bailey. Other people are like, no, that's a fallacy, mate. That's the Mott and Bailey fallacy. I know what you're doing. You're like, oh, sorry, you caught me. You're like, no, it's not. And you learn different things. You learn to see both sides of it, maybe, or you know, maybe don't. You just like think they're wrong, but still, that's okay, isn't it? No one has to die. Yeah, so that was lovely, wasn't it? A nice little coffee spot. We did have a bit of trouble with the dog and some horse riders who are now on the Ridgeway. I don't think they were my biggest fan or our biggest fans. Were they, Cokes? Really not your biggest fan. But they blamed me, even though it was her. I didn't run and chase after them, barking at them, wasn't it? It was the dog, but they somehow thought it was my fault, my responsibility. Yeah. Also, I've got a little life update. Come to a realization. Remember last night I couldn't find the oil. Well, then when I went to bed, I couldn't find the toothbrush and toothpaste either. And so and then I was reviewing the footage, and I've seen they were pretty precariously placed in the side pockets of the bag. So I think they've fallen out. We've left them as a gift to the Ridgeway gods, you know, to Wayland the smithy. We haven't sacrificed the dog. I'm not going to sacrifice the dog, even if that is what they want. We're going to keep the dog. Here's the horse riders coming back again. So maybe we'll just wait for them. Hopefully they go back in. This is like a kind of horse rink in there, so they've been horsing about and horsing around, and yeah, hopefully they'll sneak back in there, and then we can escape where they've come from with no dog horse interaction. Oh, we're back in the high life again. Back in the high life again. All the doors like those one time will open up again. Whoops. All right, let's try again. It's a lovely view, but it's just a little treacherous. You see, basically they have these these ridges. Look, there you go. We're just falling into one. And if you're not paying attention, which I'm not when I'm filming, it's easy to fall in the ridge, and that's why I think it's called the Ridgeway. It's not that we're on top of a ridge; it's that the road itself is made of ridges. Yeah, so we've got another Another camp there. I think it's a Sedgebury camp I saw on the signs. But yeah, we'll skip it again. I mean, I do feel bad skipping them all, but we had our coffee at that other camp, and the thing is that it doesn't have a spring here, so keep on trucking. Just keep trucking on. Sedgebury Castle, yeah, we skipped that. This I also didn't notice. So we are skipping probably a little too much, but you know, I'm in charge. I didn't want to see it, so we didn't see it. And now there's nothing to look at. I mean, Lord Wantage's monument, don't know if I really care about that. This is where we finish. At Goring, there's where the train station is. There's the River Thames. All right, so quests. We haven't done that yet. So what I'm thinking is, well, main quest, get to Streetley/Goring for the train station. Quest number 2 is we'll go check out Lord Wantage's monument, because, I mean, it's on the map, isn't it? And it's slightly different. So we'll go find out who was Lord Wantage, what did he want? I feel like we should be able to swim in the Thames, isn't it? And we're the right side of London for it. So maybe we'll wander up and have a little plunge, because we haven't had a plunge and it's a bloody sitting tour, isn't it? Okay, so here we've got a horse chestnut tree, and a word in the forest is that this is sort of the soap equivalent that we have. In light of the quests thus far established by our founding fathers, aka me, about 10 minutes ago, we're going to take some of these leaves. Probably it's the young ones again, isn't it, normally? Take the small leaves and we'll use them to have a little wash in the river. Yeah, we'll take that, put them in the bag, hopefully they don't fall out. These lads are pretty cute, but I'm always anxious to film them when the dog's here, because she gets jealous because of their wool. She thinks she's the only wool provider around here. There you go, in the distance you can see it. I guess that must be Lord Wantage's monument. And I'm also feeling pretty hungry now. I think probably human will let me eat now. Got this plantain here. Now, I've heard this on, what's he called? Future Canoe, I think his name is. He's always putting cheese in his ramen, so let's put a bit of cheese in there as well and see what happens. We've referenced quite a few YouTubers in this one, haven't we? Stefan Milo and Future Canoe. So I'll put links to some of their videos in the ones that have inspired me. And also, I guess while we're on the topic, another big inspiration to me is Atomic Shrimp. You know, he does quite a bit of foraging, but more sort of house-based. I'd like to think of myself as a sort of, like a kind of homeless atomic shrimp who's not as wise or doesn't know as much. Yeah, if I had to describe myself, which obviously no one's asked me to do, I'd say, yeah, Atomic Shrimp meets Bo Miles, the Backyard Adventurer. Clay Tools Stories, he does sort of survival. He's a bit more hardcore than me though. He does it, you know, no knife, no food, no water. And then Future Canoe, who does, I mean, he's quite good at cooking, but it's like, it doesn't look that good. And then rates everything 1 through 10. Right, here we go. So now the cheese has started to emulsify with the fat from the peanut butter. And the plantain's in there, a bit of grass. Let's try and get the grass out, I guess. Flavour-wise, it's pretty good. Let's try a bit of the plantain. And that is good, actually. That freshens it up a bit. Maybe a bit like kind of spinach in there. And we've got the chili cheese, peanut butter. I mean, it's quite a mix of stuff going on in there. I think maybe the cheese, I don't really notice it so much, the flavour, but it thickens the sauce perhaps a bit. And then the grass is just a nice little bonus, isn't it, to have a bit of grass in there. Just makes it more exciting, like, you know, when you're picking bones out of a fish, it's like, this is not good, really, is it? I want to eat the fish, not spend my time picking through bones. I wish someone had got rid of these bones. That's how I feel with the grass. It's like the bone, you know, it's the bone of the plantain. For right now, hungry and cold, we're going to do a +2 bonus because it is just, I just enjoying it because it's hot food. But I think the actual thing itself is probably a 6 maybe. So we're going to give it an 8. Also, maybe I mixed with Stefan Milo a bit. I mean, again, all these people are a lot more knowledgeable and they seem to remember the things and have stuff to say. They don't have to just look it straight from Wikipedia to read it to you. But I think they're my main inspirations probably for this channel. And I'd recommend them all as just better things to watch. All right, let's say this. Atomic Shrimp without the home and less knowledge. Bo Miles without the kind of endurance, like a lazy Bo Miles. and also like less good cinematography. I feel like I'm pretty similar to Future Canoe, but like outdoors. Stefan Milo, if you didn't know anything, and Clay Tool Stories with like less brave basically, and again less knowledge and less ability, I guess, and less willing to even challenge myself, like a baby, you know, like a baby Clay Tool Stories, I'd say. Let me know if there's any other YouTubers that you think I'm similar to, because I want the content really. Yeah, so I was just about to go, but I realised we haven't talked about who Lord Wantage was. So this is his monument. He was like a British soldier, I think, what was it, died in 1901? Yeah, 1832 to 1901. And basically he was just an all-round good dude. He was born really rich, but he was like a big philanthropist. Yeah, he co-founded the British National Society for Aid to the Sick and Wounded in War, which is not that catchy a title, but they later renamed it to the British Red Cross. So basically he kind of started the British Red Cross. That's pretty good. And it says that he was friends with Florence Nightingale, and she had this to say about him. Lord Wantage is a great loss, but he had been a great gain. And what he has gained for us can never be lost. Ah, pretty good, Florence Nightingale. I like that. It's confusing, makes people think, well, wait a minute. But I think if you do unpack it, it seems nice, a nice thing to say. So well done, Florence. Yeah, so I've seen quite a few patches of this. Is this just the... Oh yeah, it's just the cowslip again, but I don't know, I thought maybe it was like an orchid or something. But they're good clumps. You see, I don't know if you can see down there, but there's a clump. Yeah, there you go. I don't know, every so often there's a clump. It's a bit strange, isn't it? I wonder if it's to do with like the water drainage or something like that. Yeah, it's like nothing really, it's a waste of time. I guess it's like some fibre maybe you get from it, but it seems pretty worthless to me. And then we did the monument, that was lunch, now we're here, and this is where we're going, so we're probably about halfway. Yeah, there was another dude back there who was bird watching. I told him about Mark, and he was like, yeah, I saw a yellow wagtail yesterday as well. Apparently they're passing through, migrating or something like that. They nest up towards Oxfordshire, like just over yonder. So this one's called the wayfaring tree. Now from a distance I was thinking it might be elderflower, but no. The berries, which these flowers will eventually turn into, are extremely poisonous. So we'll stay away from that, but it does smell fairly nice. It's called that because it tends to grow on paths or ways, you know, which we're faring. We are faring this way, and that's the wayfaring tree. So here we've got some borage. Here we go, so we've made it to Goring, South England Village of the Year, 2009-2010, so we're about 14 or 15 years too late. I'm going to call this the end of the Ridgeway because we've reached the River Thames, right? But we're going to do a little extension to go for a swim. So that's about 7 hours, I think it's taken. This says to the river, so that's where we're going. All right, well, a bit of an issue there. I mean, there was a sign that said footpath flooded. I guess that's part of the reason you have these, so that you can do crossings and that kind of thing, can't you? Yeah, this morning I was cold. I was like, God, wish I had some socks, you know? But now I'm thinking, great, well done me. Good choice of footwear. So really, yeah, it goes to show you, doesn't it? It's the gaps between the stones. No, it doesn't really show you that, but it just shows that like your decisions aren't really good or bad. It's the situation that makes them so. But yeah, on the plus side, a flooded footpath normally means no one's going to be here at the river, is it? No, there's no access. They're not going to be able to get there, and we can just relax, can't we? We can be on our own and relax in the peace and quiet, even though, you know, we're by the town Goring. Now we just need to find a bit where there's no mansions or manors or whatever opposite it with their manicured lawns. Ideally we want bushes both sides, sort of thing. Here we go. We've got wild mustard. I actually know even a little bit more. I know you can eat it, actually we will be doing. And also, and we'll be rating it, so I know you can eat it, you can rate it. I mean, you can actually eat and rate anything pretty much. Solids, any solid, physical, you can't eat and rate. You can rate concepts, but you can't eat them. Anyway, but you can eat and rate the majority of things. Tangible, touchable items are edible and rateable. Anyway, so that's enough of that. This is a member of the cruciferous family because it's got a cross, you see, which is also like baby Jesus. But I think more recently that's the older kind of name for it, and now the cooler name is Brassicaceae. Brassicaceae. Fantastic. So yeah, it used to be called the cruciferous because of the cross. I kind of prefer that because it's easier to pronounce as well. But Brassicaceae as well, if you want to be probably more correct. You know what they're like. They're taxonomists. They're always shuffling stuff around when you're not looking. And they'll shuffle all the taxonomies around, won't they? Well, actually, I was so pleased with myself then that I almost forgot to even forage it. So let's forage a few of the flowers. Yeah, look, lovely. I reckon this one on the end here looks pretty good. You've got the chimney going in there. You've got this cool, just like you can just drive your boat right in there. And you live above it, and then it looks like live above it, and then it looks like you've got some bit of land next to it. You can moor another boat, and then have your goose. I don't know if you can see the goose, but keep your goose there. Yeah, there you go. That would be the spot, isn't it? You've got your boat right on the Ridgeway as well. If you need to just pop and do the oldest road in Britain, you always can. Here we have the hawthorn, which also makes a good tea, and some nettles down there. So we're having a bit of like a foraging bonanza to finish off with, which I think is only fitting because I'm pretty sure I'm going to title this video Foraging the Ridgeway for Knowledge and Sustenance. I like this idea of that you get the ones that grow together, and possibly that's a good combo. It seems like if there was a god, then that's the sort of thing he might set up for us, isn't it? Like, well, these ones taste good, so here you go. Make that convenient for you. I mean, it didn't really work with the apples, did it? The apple blossom and the rose hits. Don't know if that was just a dodgy batch or whatever. But no, it was great on the first day. With what do we have on the first day? The dandelions and the nettles. Dandelions and nettles, basically, with a bit of silverweed. All right, so the rain's got pretty bad now, and apparently it's going to rain for the next like hour at least. So I guess we should swim here because we just, I don't know, might as well get wet. If we're going to get wet, we might as well get really wet. This sign says no bathing, which to me suggests it's probably a good spot for bathing, otherwise they wouldn't need to put the sign up. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe here's a good spot. Dog's a bit in the way, but there's like a kind of shelf in the water there. So it seems like you could get down. And we're kind of sheltered by these big trees. So our stuff won't get too wet. We can hang, it's like, you know, here's the sort of changing room. Hang your stuff up there. Yeah, so classic dog wants a stick. It doesn't really matter that we've just cycled whatever for 40 or 45 miles or something. She doesn't really care, she just wants to play. Yeah, it was fairly cold actually. It was colder than the other one in Bristol. I did try and rub myself with that horse chestnut. It's hard to really know if anything happened. I couldn't stand up basically, so I just had to swim and rub myself, so it's a bit tricky. But I mean, I'm clean definitely from the water, and maybe the bit of scrubbing can't hurt. And now the rain. Yeah, the rain is what they call atrocious. I think the weather's atrocious. There's this big tree here which is actually kept most of this bit. This bit's actually kind of dry. So I mean, the dog's happy. We can look at the rain, and also we've got all these forageables. So look, there's even bloody garlic mustard right here. Let's put some of that in it. That it's better. Yeah, she like immediately spits out everything she is eating. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's got that clag, Not so soupy. Maybe the seasoning packet's a bit better. Anyway, now we've got a bit of borage in this bite. Let's try this. Oh, it's actually quite good. I mean, again, it's just a leaf, but it works. Like, you wouldn't think it's a weird foraged leaf. From the bank opposite, I just got these. You can't really see, can you? Dog's having a look. No, not for you. Can't really see, but look here. I'll show you putting them in, then you'll be able to see them. Oh, you can see them fall down like this. Look here. Yeah, we've got these garlic mustard flowers that we had the other day. Yeah, it's good. Maybe they're like kind of spring greens or something like that. I can't really remember exactly what all those things taste like. But it'd be like if someone gave you those leaves, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's the sort of leaf you can eat. So I'd say borage actually quite good. Yeah, maybe like a 7. Like, I think if you like, really it's a 6.5 sort of thing in like all foods. But for leaves, it's probably like an 8 on the leaves. Yes, overall, pretty good. I'm gonna call it 9. 9 for this. Pretty decent food. Definitely better than breakfast. Yeah, and here's the spot where we're eating them. And actually, look, it's fine. There's the wet, and here's the dry. And I'm on the dry, so I'm not even actually getting rained on. This tree is doing an amazing job.
Blue eyes crying in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what this is. Maybe field maple, but I mean, it's very big, and that's what the bark looks like. I don't know. And it's massive, no? Like, is that field? I don't feel like field maple gets that big, but maybe it does. Here you go, we've got the tea, which is gonna make me feel like it's not raining. Got my hood up. I mean, to be honest, I always have my hood up, even if it's not raining, but I like how it covers my ears. It protects, I feel protected when I wear it. Covers my neck. It's vulnerable, most vulnerable place. Hey, look at that. Perfect timing. Now the rain stopped. So that's absolutely brilliant. Very happy with that, very pleased. It's good, we're getting, definitely get the nettle through now. And yeah, a bit of sweetness too from the hawthorn flowers. I think that is really what the flowers do, isn't it? They bring the sweetness, they bring the honeys. No, they bring the bees and they make the honey from because the flowers are sweet, something like that, the nectar. You got the nectar, so you add a bit of nectar, whereas the nettle, I think, kind of gives it the body. It's a bit more like kind of green tea sort of flavour, or mint sort of tea. I mean, it's not menthol, but you know, the other component of the mint flavour, which, you know, the kind of bitter dirt flavour, it brings that. No, I think that's pretty good. In a little organic cafe, I think you probably pay for $3.50 for that. So rating, yeah, 8, I reckon, pretty decent. I found this sneaky route back where we don't have to go, like, we don't have to go wading. She's drifting off to sleep. So yeah, waiting for the sandwich. I mean, it's right, isn't it? It's pretty 6. Here we go. Here's the ley lines. It feels pretty arbitrary where these points are. Yeah, and in England it doesn't even go to Avebury, so I don't think that's right. Cool, so we made it back here. This feels a lot better than Swindon. Yeah, so we're pretty much in the centre of it now then, I think, and this is the obelisk here, which marked where that huge, the huge stone would have been. Yeah, apparently 21 feet long, 8 foot 9 inches diameter. Standing here at the obelisk, when you look over here, this one is the vulva stone. I guess we'll, might as well. You can put that in there and put that up on there. Beautiful. The last of our water, we'll add the last of our leaves, which is some mint from the train station. There's a few little bits of hawthorn in there. And then look who I see over here as well, a little nettle. That seems to be almost be asking at it, a gift from the vulva stone. We will take the divine leaves or whatever from there. And that looks like a pretty good tea to me. We've started at Avebury, we've ended at Avebury, which is great. And we've learned a lot. I think that's important, isn't it? It's, I've heard about this, the spiral of history. Here we go. Here we go. I feel like it's all going to come together. Yeah, I've heard about the spiral of history, how history spirals, much like the shell of a snail, or the coffee, you know, the creamer on a coffee as you stir it around. We all come back to where we started from, but if we're living life right, we come back with new knowledge, increased sustenance, and I don't know, increased vigor, passion, enthusiasm. Basically, we've grown. Ideally, we would have grown when we got back, and I think definitely we have. I mean, for me, big deal was to have the cow parsley. I know it didn't really taste that much, or we didn't really care about it that much, but it was like I've always wanted to eat that, but always been too afraid. We've also done a decent amount of cycling. Yeah, definitely a lot more than I've done. I haven't done any in the past 7 months. So yeah, we also had a religious, spiritual thread running through it too. We met Mark, the born again Christian, who gave us the Bible verse, and then on top of that, we started and finished at Avebury, which is a wonderful religious, spiritual site where we can celebrate fertility and regeneration and growth. Yeah, and alongside religion, I'm going to zoom in on the obelisk stone, or where the obelisk stone. You've got to imagine a 21-foot member up there, basically. We talked quite a lot about war, the evolution of war, stores of value. I mean, I feel like we have learned some cool stuff about how arguments are wars. So go on, get out there, go on an adventure, use your, dogs coming to go on and get out there, use your powers of Mott and Bailey fallacy to win arguments and make that your only form of war that you partake in. You know, let's keep the wars verbal. Then yeah, there's only one thing left to do, isn't there? Yeah, which is to lick the bag. So we'll make a little offering to the vulva stone, Passion Mama. Yeah, I mean, mint tea is really good, isn't it? That's the one better, and it's the one you don't find. No, you can find it actually out in the world, but it's the one we got from the train station. But still, mint tea's delicious, and a bit of nettle. I think the vulva nettle really helps it too. So I'm gonna give it a 9 to finish on, but I know at the bottom it's gonna become a 10. But we'll leave it at that. May you start as 9s and finish as 10s. Oh, it's the free sitting tall. Oh, it's the free sitting tall. While you're lying in bed, just one video more.